Hi, this is Roger in Finland, and today I want to talk about why do I like the Zcam E2-S6 so much. And for the impatient ones, the reasons are really simple. I like very much the image that comes from it, I like very much working with the image that comes from it, and I really have fun using the camera. And before getting into some more details, a few disclaimers. The first one is that this S6 is mine, and this video is not sponsored by anyone. The second one is that I had to sell a bunch of stuff to be able to buy this S6. The third one is the usual related to Zcam or anything else that I do here is that I'm a hobbyist and I just like using this stuff, and then I share what I learn and what I like and what I don't. And the last one is that my opinions, my preferences, my wants and my needs are mine. If yours are different, that's okay. Let me give you an overview, not a review, of the Zcam S6 first. So it is a cube-shaped cinema camera that has an interchangeable mount, and you can get for it EF, which is what comes in the package, Micro Four Thirds, PL, Leica M, and through third party, even though they don't get so many good reviews, Sony E mount as well. It does record ProRes HQ, LTE, all the flavors into a CFast card, and it shoots up to 6K open gate with this resolution and up to this frame rate that I don't really use. Then when it comes to the price, this thing costs pretty much the same than a Sony A7 IV. But then you might wonder, well, all these cinema cameras, they need a ton of accessories. So how about the accessories? The things that for me, because I've been using either some cinema cameras, I have been rigging other cameras in the past, I had most things that I needed. I did have CFast cards already, I did have a monitor already, I do have some handles to use with it, I did have a V-mount battery for it. So the only thing that I had to buy, other than the camera itself, was a cage, and then the Micro Four Thirds mount. The reason for me getting that mount is that I do not own or planning to get any EF glass, but I do have some Micro Four Thirds lenses, or lenses for Micro Four Thirds mount, that do cover Super 35, like my favorite one, the Make 25mm T2.2, which I'm being filmed right now, and most of the videos you've seen lately, and quite likely plenty of the videos that you'll see moving forward, are shot with that lens. Another nice thing of these mounts, most of them anyway, is that they are locking mounts, so nothing wiggles, everything holds in place really sturdily. They do have two versions of the Micro Four Thirds mount, one which is the locking mount that I got, and the other one which is the non-locking one, which comes in stock with the Zcam E2-M4, which is the Micro Four Thirds sensor one. But the price difference when you're buying the mounts on their own is so small that it's definitely worth going for the locking mount. And funnily enough, the two things that I mostly appreciate and tend to recommend when people thinking about cameras for this type of videos and then the vlogging YouTube style is really good and reliable autofocus, in-body image stabilization. This camera doesn't have really any of the two. So how come do I like it still so much? And yes, I know that this is a cinema camera. No, that was not a complaint. It was more of a statement of the things that this camera does or doesn't do. So for this type of shot, which is what I do usually anyway, the stabilization doesn't matter because this thing is on top of a tripod or a three-legged thing from Monopod. But anyway, not the three-legged brand, but just it has three legs. And then about the focus, I basically set it up with the picking with the help of this, and that's about it. And then I don't really move. So there we go. And then for more creative stuff, which in my case it really means filming my kids while playing board games or so, actually having the manual focus gives a lot more freedom and accuracy to what you want to do. And I just really like the rack focus slowly into a Cluedo piece on the board. What can I say? Then I mentioned in the section for the impatient ones that I really like the image quality. I really do. I'm really happy how this looks, and this is very easy to create thanks to the ACES workflow that please you can find the video here. But don't take my word for it. You can take a look at the Driven Films YouTube channel, and Joe is making really excellent and amazing content with the Zcam S6 for professional usage, even though we might see some Kine Affinity content in his channel soon, but anyway. And then if you still don't want to take my word for it, or by somebody else that posted this thing here, let me just say that Zcam cameras, specifically F6, S6G, and E2, have been used to film parts of Mission Impossible 7. That's public knowledge. These screenshots prove it. So if it's good for them, it's probably good enough for us. Then I mentioned the codec and me shooting ProRes, and I shoot it right now, and usually I'm shooting in ProRes 422. This camera can shoot internally, meaning into the CFast card or to an SSD via the USB-C port behind, can shoot in ProRes LT, Proxy, 422, NHQ, and it can also do 0 internally, and then it can shoot ProRes RAW into an Atomos Ninja 5. So if it can do ProRes RAW and it can do 0, why to do ProRes? Well, for me, the added workflow that would mean to work in ProRes RAW, which is just not in Resolve, not worth it, don't like it, and the extra workflow that RAW would require with the proprietary software from Zcam to have to transcode it, again, not worth it for me. And going back to Mission Impossible 7, they did shoot in ProRes 422. If it's good enough for them, definitely good enough for me. And this is a codec that gives me freedom to do the color grading. Even if it's for these videos, I enjoy it very, very much. And it's very easy and nice and smooth to edit with my 2-year-old gaming laptop, which was not a top of the line even 2 years ago. Still today, editing ProRes 422, it's a breeze, especially if you compare it to the H265 flavors, and then my computer just chokes. Then on the power side of things, it accepts NPF batteries, so you can use any size you want and the battery will last for a long time. Then included in the box, there's a LiMo to D-tap cable, which means that you can use that to plug it into a V-mount battery, which then, again, more flexibility and more power to you. And then what I have also in these situations is basically a power brick to the wall. And this is one of the things that I really love from this setup right now. The Zcam E2-S6 is plugged to the wall. The monitor on top of the Zcam E2-S6 is also plugged to the wall. This light, the Godox FL100, is plugged to the wall. And my Zoom H5 recording the audio is also plugged to the wall, which means that I have zero worries on power while making these videos. And this is relevant for me because, as you may know, I have very little time to do this stuff. So when I do record videos that I'm going to do 2, 3, or even 4 of them at once, I really don't want to be worried about the batteries. And yes, I know that you can use dummy batteries with plenty of other cameras, but just the solution that this offers without having to deal with the flaps and the flops and the dummy things, it's just a proper, thick, good, safe LiMo cable that I can fully trust for sure. So there you go, a few reasons why I like this camera so much. Is it an overkill for what I do? Oh yes it is, but as you may know, overkill is underrated anyway. However, this is still a lot less costly than a Sony a7S III, which many people would consider okay to do what I do for some strange reason, or an a7 IV in comparable price. So is this too much for me, for what I do? Probably it is. Am I enjoying it? Oh yes. Is it overkill underrated? Most definitely. So I'm not trying to swing you towards Zcam here. I just wanted to share why do I enjoy this so much, because the prices are comparable to very different cameras. That's something that might be worth considering for some people. So there we go. I have a couple of videos already out on the Zcam E2-S6, one about the resolutions and cropping, another one about A6 workflow. I'm going to do another video related to the crop factors in all the resolutions at the maximum frame rates that they have, each one of them, because the previous video was only about 25p. And then I'm pretty sure that I'm going to make some more videos. I don't know if I'm going to talk about my rig, because it's just not worth it for the people that might actually be interested in cinema rigging, but let's see what we'll do. What I'm sure is that this camera will be a staple in the channel in the year 2022. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we're gonna see you soon for some more content.